Hey guys, my name is Dananjaya Aloysius. I also go by the name Dan, and this is my rig rundown. My initial impetus for picking up the guitar was my friend named Yanu in school, who I played football with, and he used to play me bands like Metallica, like Megadeth, and it was actually initially because of bands like System of a Down, Disturbed, even Kid Rock that made me go, wow, I wish I could play it. So yeah, I worked the summer. I worked for my uncle for 2 months so I could afford an acoustic guitar. I got paid peanuts. I got paid $3,000 a month. But I worked those 2 months and I saved up and I got a guitar from the shop called Globe. It was a Star Sun acoustic. It was bright red. And that was my first guitar, and that's how I started playing guitar when I was 16 years old. So these days my main focus is my band Fade to Black, and I've taken a step back from singing. So basically I was in a band called Eclectic when I was in Australia, and I used to front that band. I used to sing, and singing is kind of a thing that I never really worked for. It was more like God going, oof, there, you can sing now. That's how I started singing. I never practiced. I never, even now if you ask me to sing, I wouldn't really need to practice or go through vocal exercises or anything like that. However, the guitar, the instrument, that's something I had to kill and strive and so that's how I learned, so I had to really apply myself, really practice. In this band, Fade to Black, what I'm doing mainly is the guitar. I'm not singing at all. I am writing some of the lyrics, so I'm singing with a female, so I'm not singing, I'm playing with a female singer called Dana. Some of you might remember her from a band named Alchemy or Lola. She's an amazing singer who can both sing and growl, and the stuff that we're making is heavy and progressive, but it's also very melodic in the sense that there's a lot of strings, a lot of violin parts. I'm actually playing the violin in some of the songs. Some of the violin parts I've had to use VSTs, but hopefully by the time we play live I would have mastered those parts on the violin. So I've picked out a few guitars that I use, especially on my band, and but I've saved the sexiest one to last. But this is the first one, and I'm just going to introduce it. It's called Bernie, and it's actually a Bernie Les Paul custom. This was pre-lawsuit, and I got this in the end of 29 December when I was in Japan. I walked into a hard off, which is like an op shop, and this was going for like 20,000 yen, which is not that much, which is about, I don't know, back then it was like 25,000, 30,000 rupees. But I played it and I knew there was some magic in this guitar, and this guitar it never fails to inspire me. So whenever I pick this up, I'm always able to create a piece of music, which is what you want in an instrument. You don't want an instrument to just play well and have all the bells and whistles. You want it to be able to inspire you, and this has inspired me, and inspired me to look at the original Gibson Les Paul custom, which we'll get to next. So this is it's a vintage Gibson. It's a Gibson 1979 Les Paul custom. Serial number is 71779609, and it's got the Gibson tuners as they did back in the 70s. It's the only real vintage guitar that I have, and it belongs to my guitar teacher Derek, and I've exchanged. I had a PRS Custom 24 which I used on a music video called Dances of Death, but this is just because when I first got the Bernie custom Les Paul, I was like, wow, this is so great. But then when I played the real thing, when I played a real like Gibson, Gibson Les Paul, I was just blown away. And if the Bernie can inspire me, then this can take me to heaven. But it also comes with a hefty price tag. But I was very fortunate since it belonged to my guitar teacher, and he's played it. And I remember the neck here, it's kind of like relic, and I looked at Derek and I was like, Derek, did you relic this neck? And he was like, No man, it's all for playing. And I thought that was really nice. So this is, I saved this guitar. This one, as you may see, there's a theme with the guitars that I like. I like this single cut shape, and this guitar is called my desert island guitar. It's called Excalibur. That's the name I gave to it. But my good friend in Ohio, in America, made this guitar for me, and it's just basically my desert island guitar. If I was stuck in a desert island and I could only take one guitar and one amp, I would definitely choose this guitar over all the guitars that I have. So this is everything that I wanted to do. Basically, the pickups in these are called the Seymour Duncan P-Rails. My friend Jim initially put Sentient and Nazgul, and they were very metal, high output gain pickups. But these particular pickups that I have on this at the moment are called the Seymour Duncan P-Rails, and it's great because it's got a PAF and it's got a single coil, PAF single coil, and there's a trick that when you, so this neck pickup, you switch it the other way around and you can coil tap it. So once you coil tap it, you get very single coil sound pickups. You can three-way switch, so it's like from this position, it's this pickup, both pickups, and then the neck pickup, and then you coil tap it, then you get the PAF and the bridge, then you get the single coil and the PAF, and then at that you just get the single coil. And it's great because it has a lot of tonal options, and without having to change guitars and in the middle of the song or something, I can quickly move to a different sound when I want to. And one of the cool parts about the F7G brand, the S7G, strictly 7 guitars, is the colorway. I mean, look at that. It gives me all the access that I need, and I think it's patented. But this is probably my favorite guitar. So visually, I think this is the most beautiful instrument that I own. It's also S7G, also made by my friend Jim in Ohio. And the best part is it's the first time I've seen a curly maple fretboard. See that? See the wood grain and how it is. And this guitar is just a beast. So I had a name for it. I called it Lagatha, and Lagatha was Ragnar's wife in the Norse, the TV series on Netflix. So Lagatha is the name of a shield maiden in Viking culture, and if you know Viking culture and you know the history and stuff, you know who Lagatha is. So this guitar is called Lagatha, and it's the most beautiful guitar because it's a baritone one, so it's 26 inch scale, but for like a good metal chunky riff, it's like it would be a woman playing metal. Yeah, like a woman playing like a death metal song, because it'll still look good, it'll still give you it looks so good, but it'll sound raunchy as well. So there are a couple of amps that I use. The first one is the Vox Ac30, and this is the white vinyl edition, the white vinyl limited edition Vox Ac30, and it was the same. Actually, the same amp was what the Foo Fighters used. I think it was 2016 or 2017. I can't remember. I saw them live in Singapore, in a huge stadium, and they were using 2 Friedman BE100s and 2 of these to run that whole stadium. And this is a rock monster. You know, it's for a rock guitar. I don't think there's anything better than maybe, I mean, you could compare it with like a Marshall Plexi, but there's nothing better with the versatility, especially on the high end, than a Vox Ac30. I mean, this is the sound that made the Beatles, you know. So yeah, that's one of them. The second amp is my Anglo Fireball, which is a completely different beast altogether. This is and I use a Harley Benton cab, which you can get on Thomann, and this is the vintage Celestian V30s. This one has greenbacks, not the blue speaker, the greenbacks. But the Anglo Fireball is a metal amp. It's the most raunchiest amp I have. It's something. It's like it has the same effect as a JCM 800 marrying a 5150 PV. That's as close as I can get to how an Anglo Fireball sounds, and it has a lot of low end, a lot of gain, and I need that for my metal stuff. The third and final amp is my Bassman amp, my Fender Bassman 100, and that I mainly use for clean sounds. There is once, and the song is on iTunes. It's called "So I Can Die" by Dananjaya Aloysius on iTunes and Spotify and all that. I turned everything to 10, so I turned all of the knobs to like 10, everything to full, and I just played that whole song, and like my neighbors didn't kill me. I recorded it in the studio. I recorded the home studio, and I'm so happy. But the sound that I got when those tubes were those tubes were on fire, because all three amps are tube amps. So yeah, those are my amps. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my rig rundown and enjoyed my little playing right there. That's from a song from my band Fade to Black. The song is called Stargazer. And yeah, I hope this encourages someone to actually look into gear, look into music, and look into finding their own tone, which is a very subjective thing. Other than that, I hope you had a good time, enjoyed yourself, and stay tuned to this channel and what's going on here. Yeah.